Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second episode of Learning to Be Human. My name is Chris.
I'm Avery.
And this is your place for spirituality, meditation, and just learning how to be human. So today, I think we just want to talk about some of my experience with meditation, some of the Wim Hof practice. I'm not sure if anyone knows what the Wim Hof practice is, but it is something that has really helped me learn to be comfortable with myself and to face uncomfortable situations and to find great pleasure in some of these things. So, yeah. I don't know. How are you doing today, Avery?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. The weather is not too unfriendly to me.
Right.
And as I love to say on my shirt, if you can see this, I'm not dead yet.
Yeah, we have been having some really cold weather, and I know that's not very comfortable for you, but for me, it is a delight, although I do love the sun, so I cannot complain that we have the sun back.
And it gave you some nice cold water to Wim Hof into.
Wim Hof into, yeah. I finally got to go back into Eaton Canyon and experience the waterfalls there, and especially after a storm like this, it was quite turbulent, but I did it, and it was really fun. I mean, I really enjoyed doing it.
And you are welcome to it. I love the breathing, but not the cold part of it.
Yeah, so I guess we can let's talk about the breathwork practice.
Okay.
So Wim Hof is this Dutch man who practices a style of breath work that consists of almost like a circular breathing, you would say, right?
Yeah.
You're breathing into your belly and chest fully and letting that breath go. And continuing that pattern for about 40 breaths or so before you release all the air out. Take a nice pause and just sit with no breath and just kind of relax deeper into your meditation or your practice. Mm-hmm. And after about a minute or however long your body says so, take a nice deep breath in, hold it and squeeze and push that oxygen all around the body. And then you release that breath out and you repeat it for about 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 rounds. And it gives you some really amazing feelings and sensations throughout the body, tingling, oxygen levels go up, stress go down, adrenaline comes up, and that activates our fight or flight reactions, which then in turn allows us to step into the cold, if you'd like.
Not I. I'm a wuss. But I love the breath. And one of the parts I really appreciate about Wim Hof is when we're holding the breath out, the mind says, breathe in. Mm-hmm. But if we really learn to pay attention to the body, which we can learn in meditation, we start to say, I really don't need to breathe in. I remember one of the times that we did this in our Thursday classes, that I remember thinking, I can feel my heart beating. It's pumping oxygen around my body. I'm just fine. Instead of panicking because I'm without breath.
Yes.
So you have to have not just the body awareness, but you've got to work with that mind that wants you to do what you're used to doing, which is breathing in after you've breathed out. So I love that part of it, that it really strengthens the mind.
It does. It allows you to find that the part of yourself where you say you can't do it, or I have to like breathe, like the stress, and then you can just really settle in and relax a little bit deeper. And even if it's for 1 second longer, that's 1 second longer than you thought you could.
Right.
So It's almost like one conscious breath, right? It's one conscious second longer. Yeah. And then you replenish that breath with a nice big breath in and hold it, and that oxygen circulates all around the body again. What a wonderful feeling it is to get there. But one of the things we always say is never force, flow. But push past that little bit that you think you can't do, because it'll translate into your life. At least that's how it's been for myself. It's translated in such spectacular ways. When I don't think I want to do something, I just think about all the times I've jumped into the cold water. And I think, you know what, I can do it. So, but yeah, it was really cool to go to Eaton Canyon. I've been doing this practice for 5-6 years now. And I found that jumping into the cold water for me always brings me back into a humbling experience. I also associate like the cold water, cold showers with people who can't take cold or hot showers, hot baths. So it's a privilege
Yeah.
for me to take a hot shower every day. So sometimes I like to just humble myself and say, there's people all around the world that don't get to take hot showers like I do. I'm gonna jump in a cold shower and just experience this as well. And it's not that bad once you get used to it. And even if you did it for a second, hey, that's more than you would have even thought again.
That same second.
That
right?
same second.
That takes us a little bit farther.
Yeah. So this experience at Eaton Canyon was really amazing because it was the biggest rainstorm we've had in California in such a long time.
Yeah.
Where when I was walking through the waters and having to jump over, it was basically like crossing a small little river. The water was up to my thighs. It was pushing me around. I was like, oh, this is really fun. But once I got to the actual fall itself, I've always saw that fall as it's like my peaceful place on earth.
Yeah.
That's like my holy place, I guess you can say.
Connection to nature, which is so important for us.
Absolutely. It is that connection to nature. When I'm without going in there or without being inside the water, I really do find myself to be disconnected from nature itself. And I think that's another reason why I love this practice is it really grounds you into being here on earth as a human being.
Exactly the way you are without having to change anything
Mm-hmm.
and recognizing it's not a problem.
Right?
In fact, what a joy it is to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be permanent.
Mm-hmm. It's not.
But I'm not dead yet. And that's an important thing to recognize, that I'm still here, pains and aches and problems and all. I think it's better than not having them because you're not here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That'll come soon enough.
Yeah. And that's one thing is it's really cool because going into the water, I take a lot of my friends there too. Mm-hmm. And we'll do our breath practice before. We'll stick our toe in the water, and then it's like, oh, this is a real thing. It's really happening. And we'll stay in the water, and you can feel immediately your body gets really cold. Obviously, it's really cold water.
Yeah.
But the really cool part is when I look at them and I say, just breathe. Just focus on your breath and breathe. And you can see their eyes just start to light up. And their body starts getting warmer. Yeah. And the body knows what to do in those situations. Yeah. And, that is the part of the trusting your body to do what the body is capable of doing. Yeah. But the mind will always tell you, no.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, right? So I love associating like these two practices of connecting the mind to the body with the Wim Hof. It's like when my mind tells me something I can't do, I look into the water and I say, no, I've been in the cold water, 40-degree water, sub 40 degree, 5, 6, 7 minutes, hypothermia, all that stuff. I'm not.
Be careful.
No, I know, but with the practice, I can feel that I am in total control of myself. And like I said, never force, just flow. So when it comes to a point where I feel like, okay, it's time to get out, it's time to get out.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm never there like, oh, I need to stay in here and prove myself to be.
And that's a key though, isn't it? Because we don't always know when to stop. Mm-hmm. We don't always know. We keep pushing ourselves, and we have to know when to say, okay, that's enough, or when to say, try a little bit more. As long as you're paying attention, I think that you're going to be relatively safe. And when we do the Wim Hof, when you guide us in that, one of the things I very much appreciate also is when you encourage us to just relax a little bit more, pay attention. I know when I have to breathe, truly have to breathe, whether it's the time you call us out or not, I still do that. I make that choice, and it's not that I'm doing it wrong, it's just that I'm done.
Exactly.
But more often than not, when you say just relax a little more, I really can.
Yes.
Just relax a little more until I really feel, no, I have to breathe now.
Yeah, exactly.
So learning that balance is wonderful, and you're so good at guiding us in that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it is a fun process to do, and yeah, aside from the Wim Hof practice, I think just generally being there and seeing other people do it too. Like this last time, I went in by myself and I saw some other people start undressing, and shout out to Claudia and Artie, them two got in too, and and they said, "Oh, thank you for inspiring us to go in." And everyone's staring at me like I'm nuts, and I'm like, "Yeah, I am." So it's just such a fun thing to do, and it has always reconnected me to myself. I always like do a little bow to the waterfall. It's Mother Nature's way of healing me, and it's such a cool thing because, you know, Wim Hof has really inspired a lot of people to start doing it all over Instagram, all over TikTok, wherever you see people jumping into frozen lakes and, you know, ice baths, and we know this to be a thing that athletes do. You know, people in cold countries and cold weathered countries, they just jump into the water, get into a sauna after.
Yeah.
So there's so much human use that has been here for such a long time, not just through Wim Hof, but you know, he's only allowed it to become more popular based on our social media presence and outlook. But this thing has been around for so long. Tibetan monks standing under waterfalls, frozen waterfalls, and just meditating and, you know, finding their peace and their focus with breath. So
remembering that it's temporary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's impermanent. Eventually you'll
get out.
Change, right? Get out.
You'll get out. You'll change. It'll
get warm.
You get warm. Yeah.
Yep. I'm the warm part.
Yeah.
I'm really good at that part.
I love being warm, but the cold just does something really, really fascinating to myself.
It's very good for inflammation.
Yeah, exactly. That part too. There's also the health benefits to the practice of Wim Hof, not just the mind, but you know, when you get injured, you stick ice packs on you. It's a full body ice pack.
It is. It really is a full body ice pack, and we need that anti-inflammatory stuff.
Yes.
Our lives are very inflammatory.
Exactly. The anti-inflammatory part too. When we are inflamed, that's what causes a lot of issues in our body.
And mind.
And mind, right? So.
Especially if we think we're our bodies.
Yeah.
And if our body is uncomfortable and we're our bodies, then we're uncomfortable.
Yes.
As opposed to, like we talked about last time, the experiencer of discomfort as opposed to being that.
Yes, exactly.
So it's where the mind part of it comes in, where we get to recognize, I am just experiencing this. This is not who I am. It's not permanent.
Yeah.
And it's not personal.
It is not permanent. And that kind of brings me to just a part of my life where I feel like it's been that reawakening again, you know. Quite funny that you would think that as someone that meditates quite often, in myself, you know, you'd be very conscious throughout your entire process, but it's really cool to know that you know, even deeply practiced meditators fall asleep again too. So I feel like I'm back into my consciousness. I feel like and who knows, it's impermanent too, you know.
It is.
But yeah, I definitely feel reconnected to myself over the past, I don't know, it had been like a year and a half or so, where it just seemed like I was that vessel that was just kind of here and not really here though, you know. And I attribute that awakening to learning how to let go, like just learning how to let go of things that no longer served me. And in 2023, that was one of my biggest things that I wanted to accomplish for myself, and I still have things to let go of, and I will always have things to let go of. But
yes, that's very true, very wise.
Yeah. You know, it's not over yet, but I feel that by learning to let go of just things that no longer serve me in this moment, it has allowed more space for the universe to bring other things into my life.
Yes.
And allowed me the space to accept these things that are coming into my life. Just a lot of peace and happiness and joy so far.
Freedom from unhappiness is good.
Exactly.
Happiness is even better, but
yes,
either one works.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent concept. One of the things also to recognize in understanding that nothing is permanent is that having to revisit your desires, like you were saying, your wanting to be more present. Once you've visited that, you have to revisit it because you're always changing. Nothing is permanent. So a week later, a year later, a year and a half later, you've changed. Things in your life have changed. So why wouldn't you want to come back and say, let me reevaluate this, make sure I'm on track, do a little tweaking to what I need. Waiting for something that's going to change dramatically before you do anything about it. Sometimes you might not be able to make the adjustments that you would have if you had done it sooner
Mm.
when things were more subtle.
Mm.
So another great advantage of these practices is that we have awareness on the smaller level,
Yeah.
on a more consistent level, so that when things start to change, if we've lost awareness, we'll come back to it more quickly.
Mm.
We won't have to wait until whatever we need to deal with is screaming at us.
Yeah.
That we get to hear its whispers
Mm.
and then make minor adjustments or even major ones if that's what we need. But we're on top of it. We don't wait until something becomes a problem,
Mm. Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're reevaluating, and I hope in another year you do it again.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because like you were saying, just having to reevaluate. I've had to reevaluate some of my practices and to really see what's working and what's not working in this moment, but not to say that it won't work. It's just in this moment, these things may or may not work.
Right.
And I've had to reevaluate my connection to meditation over the past month, what it means to me, because I would sit and just, hands here, sit, breathe. Yeah, this isn't working. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Is the universe supposed to speak to me? I don't know. Is this, is there supposed to be some existential thing that just guides me through? I don't know. Like, I almost felt like I lost connection to that belief form in myself. So I've had to jump in the cold water. I've had to go put my feet in the dirt, had to hug a tree, really
Happy, joy, joy.
really just learn to look at Earth itself and to say this place is a beating, living being as well.
Yes.
And reconnecting with Earth allows me to reconnect with myself and see the bigger picture of what I think life to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a fun little journey over the past month and reconnecting to myself, and I'm excited to see what is to come, because I mean, there's all these little horoscopes and things on Instagram and stuff that talk about how 2023 is supposed to be the year of a lot of good things coming into people's lives.
Oh.
So we'll see. But a lot of it talks
from their mouth to the universe's
from their
ears.
mouth. Exactly. And opening up and allowing that stuff to come in is, I think, you have to be a vessel to it. It's I learned this in a class at my music school when I went to it. It was called The Art of Flow. And it was just learning how to become a vessel to creativity, a vessel to the universe, a vessel to whatever needs to flow through us. Right. And that is a difficult thing to do, or maybe not.
Well, because our heads are so busy.
Mm.
And if we're already occupied with the thoughts and sounds of our heads, the visions, whatever it is, however we go, the combination of them, then how can we allow anything else in? If, for example, I'm carrying all my stories in my hands and you want to hand me something, I only have two hands and they're both already holding all the stuff that I think is important, all my stories, which are really not that important. If you gave me the answer to peace, I don't have any room to hold it.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to let go of these things to let something else in, to let in the answers, to let in something new.
Yeah, and that's really it's quite frightening, because we want to hold on, but
Grasping.
This reminds me of one of my biggest revelations of life, I guess, in this lifetime, and it was at an event at a dance music event, and I was just sitting there meditating during the dance music event, and I had like this amazing experience of what I perceived to be the universe speaking to me, and that was talking to me in terms of learning how to let go. In order to understand how to be here, I have to learn how to let go of my misconceptions of people.
Yes. And
self. Preconceived notions of the universe, preconceived notions of these.
Yeah.
Take my life events and maybe switch perspective. And that really is my driving force right now, and the way I want to live my life is just learning how to let go, like throughout
creating space.
Creating space, exactly.
And we have the things that we know, we have to know them because it helps us to just navigate the world
Mm.
on a regular basis. We have to know how to get up and walk. We have to know how to drive. We have to know how to eat or prepare our food. These things we do by rote and habitually. Those are wonderful to have. But a lot of our thoughts, especially our thoughts about ourselves or our preconceived notions about the world, we would do well to investigate them.
Mm.
And question them. And maybe you're going to hold on to some of them. That's okay. But there may be things that are irrelevant that you don't need to hold on to, that are keeping you from seeing the truth. A really, really simple example of this is when I was younger, I was brunette.
Okay.
Okay? I'm obviously not very brunette anymore. But if I was holding on to the image of myself as a brunette, every time I looked in the mirror, I would be startled and sad.
Mm.
I'm not a brunette anymore. So holding on to an image of self, like I'm a brunette, this is my identity, I'm going to be disappointed every single time I look at myself. Wouldn't it be better for me to reevaluate that concept that I'm a brunette and say, I was a brunette and now I'm gray-haired.
Yeah.
Unless I wanted, of course I could color it if I wanted to still be a brunette, but I wouldn't be one.
Yeah.
I would only be faking it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be much better for me to look at myself and say, gray hair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who I am.
Yeah.
So that's a real, real simple one. But we do this in so many complex ways in our lives. And we can just look for the things where we think, I know what this is. I'm starting from here on the definition, not defining it to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I think that's what you're going through now, is that you've done a lot of things to create your life and your work and your friends, your music. And it's easy to then just take the definitions that you have now about who you are in those situations, as opposed to saying, okay, I know I do this, and do I want to stay exactly where I am? Do I want to change? If I want to change, let me let go of some of these definitions and see what comes in, see what I can be, how I can improve, how I can expand my life.
Exactly. Yeah, like that area right now, I had this thought by 23, 24, 25, like I have to make it in this thing or else I'm unsuccessful. And now being 28, I'm like, you know what? I kind of just want to live and be happy. And those things will come along the way. I really trust in my abilities. And I know that there's been so much talk in my own head that has almost put me in a path of like distrust in my abilities. And I think that's why for a year or two, I've almost faked it to make it in some type of sense. You know, I've had to, I just listened to that voice for a little bit too long, I think. And there's this book that a group of friends and I were reading called The Artist Way.
Yeah.
And that talks a lot about the censor, which is the little voice in your head that censors you from being as great as you can be. And I think a lot of people now struggle with this idea that, or struggle with that little voice in the head telling them, you know, you got to do it by now. You're not successful. Da 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 da. And sometimes that drives people into pushing into that direction. And for me, that was just not the way that I wanted to live. Like, for me, that was only making me feel worse.
Yeah.
It was only making me feel sadder. It was only making me not feel good and want to do my things now. And now that I've given myself a little bit more leeway to experience life, I think that all of that stuff will come into my creativity.
It's already your creativity.
Yeah.
And when you have a lot of doubt, you block that creativity. How can it be open when that's taking the space? It's filling your hands, right? You can't put that pencil or that musical instrument into your hand if it's already filled with all of your preconceived notions about yourself. So I'm glad you've let go. I think that you'll find a lot more creativity in yourself than trying to fit into a very restrictive definition. And a lot of times when we have these situations, I think it's really important when you say, how come I'm not being more successful? instead of answering that question, I think that you should question the question and say, what do you mean by success? Tell me what your definition of success is, and I'll tell you whether or
Absolutely.
not I'm actually living up to that. You probably are.
Absolutely.
You just, is another thought somewhere that is interfering.
That has been one of the biggest things for me too in this moment. The other day I was walking around my work and I was thinking, damn, I'm still here. Like, oh man, I'm 28. Like, I should be making this amount of money. And then I stopped myself and I was like, hold on. I have my own apartment. I'm paying for my own bills. I'm able to live, have food in my fridge, go out when I want. I'm very grateful for where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
There's no need to think of myself being anywhere else but here, because I know that I will continue to work to where I want to be.
Yeah.
But there's nowhere else to be but here. So
Yes, that's
So.
very good. And you're building so much wisdom. You're growing so much wisdom.
thank you.
I wish I had known some of the things you did when I was your age 40 years ago.
That's what trips me. That's what trips me out too. Is I think that when you say that or when other friends say that, I'm like, yeah, I guess so. But then I really don't know how it was like for your mind at 28 or other people's minds at 28, because I feel like I still had this idea that I was so far behind.
Yeah.
But that also could be just the way social media presents a lot of people's lives, and then you start comparing and you start seeing how everyone else is living, and then next thing you know, you're looking at yourself like, I'm not good enough.
Right.
So
But you're only comparing yourself to their external
exactly.
presentation.
Yes.
And you don't know what's going on in their heart. You don't
Yes.
know what's going on in the mind. I know a lot of people who appear to be very successful, yet in their own hearts, they don't see it, they don't feel it, they don't feel like a valued human being. And I think they are.
Yeah.
And it's not, well, John Bradshaw says, we are not human doings, we're human beings.
Yes.
And I take that very seriously.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's a wonderful thing you're discovering now. These things that you do, you work to live, you don't live to work. And your life is so much larger and more fulfilling than just your work.
Yes.
At least I hope.
Yeah.
I know it is for you.
Yeah.
I love my work, but I'm still not my work as
Yeah.
much as I absolutely adore what I do all the time. And it makes me feel better when I do it. I'm always happy when I'm feeling down and I say, oh, I get to teach tomorrow. So I'm always really happy about that. But it's still not who I am.
Yeah.
It's still only what I do.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. I really like that quote. You said, who was that by?
Which?
The human beings.
Oh, John Bradshaw.
Yeah, John Bradshaw. I was thinking about that because we're always doing, and when do we get to step back and just be?
That's right.
I think that's why I love going in the cold water, because that's the only place I can just be in that moment. There's no thinking of, I have to get groceries or I have to do this. It's like, no, I have to sit here and
Be warm.
breathe. That's it.
Bring up that core heat.
Bring up the core
Right.
heat, and do it. And going back to the two friends that I just met at, it was funny because we caught up to them along the route back, and Artie said, man, no one ever beats me in the water. And I was thinking, no one ever beats me in the water. But
Oh, competition.
no, but it was like, it was all love. That was the cool part. It was just like, nice. There's people like us out here who are willing to explore the depths of our mind and to see, how far we can really explore ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a fascinating and beautiful experience to be able to even have that conscious ability to see deeper than what our mind is.
Yeah.
To see us and to actually live consciously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't see any greater value in life or any greater success than to be present in your own life. I think you're a success. So
Yes.
to hell with all those other
Yes.
concepts.
Yes.
You're present in your life.
Yes.
And I don't think there's a better goal for anybody.
Yeah. It's like, I think, I don't know how long ago this was. This was a few years back. But I remember seeing this homeless person just super joyful. It was just in that moment. I'm not sure what they were experiencing otherwise. But what occurred to me in that thought was, how are they so joyful and joyous in this moment, presenting so much happiness? And I'm here in my car with my jacket on, all warm, and I'm not happy.
With a house to go to
With
and
a
a job
hou-
to go to and
Exactly.
money in the bank. Right.
Exactly. And that was a few years ago, and I think like I remember that moment, and I was like, you know what, I have a lot of work to do. And it's fun. Like, it's fun work for me. I enjoy this. Like,
You did the hardest part in that realization.
yeah.
You know how we always talk about in meditation that the moment you notice that you have wandered is a moment of enlightenment.
Yes.
It truly is. It is a moment of presence, is a moment of enlightenment. And your understanding of that was a massive amount of work. The majority of the work, because the rest of it is just to remember.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's more work. I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess throughout your experience in life and finding this practice to be yours, you know, do you have any advice to this younger generation that is really finding meditation to be a difficult practice for them? Because, you know, we can sit here and talk about how great the experience is for us, but it can be really difficult for others to even consider meditation as a practice, you know.
Well, the biggest hurdle is to get over the idea that you can't do it.
Absolutely.
I've been teaching for 23 years, and I would truly be a millionaire if I had $1 for every time somebody told me they can't meditate. You think I can't meditate, there's that mind again.
Yep.
You can't.
Yeah.
You absolutely create that reality with your mind, right?
Yes.
So if I say to myself, I don't know if I can meditate.
Yeah.
I've tried it before, it was hard, or I've never tried it, it sounds hard. Let me see if I can do that.
Yeah.
That's why I start with the one conscious breath, like we
Yes.
talked about in the last recording. I think that you can't fail at that. I think everybody can take one conscious breath because everybody breathes.
Yes.
So that's a great place to start. If you can do that, you can meditate.
Mm-hmm.
You can take one, you can take two. You can take two, you can take 10.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but you can.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. That's like that is the cold for me. That is getting in there saying I can't do it, and then you do it. It's funny. Shout out to my friend Johnson when I took him out to the water. I remember him just going in and him being like in a panic, and then 30 seconds in, I can see him relaxing and breathing. A minute in, he's smiling. 2 minutes in, he's floating around in the water on his back. 5 minutes in, he's screaming, "I'm alive! I'm alive!" And I was just,
I can so see.
oh yeah, and he was just so happy. His body so red from all the cold, but you know, just him just screaming, "I'm alive!" And I think that's what I did too earlier. Or the other day with taking a cold shower, just taking in, I'm alive, I'm here. You know, I'm alive and I'm well and I'm happy. And I saw this video on Instagram, and the guy was in a frozen lake too. And he's in and he's just screaming, "I'm alive. This is going to be the best day ever. I'm alive." And I got out of bed and I was like, okay, it's going to be the best day ever. I have to make today the best day ever.
And the next time you do it will be the best
But
day ever
exactly,
again.
exactly.
There's no limit to the number of best days ever.
Exactly. There is no limit to the amount of goodness and fun times you can have in your life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of it depends on how you define it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is fun. Well, if your definition of fun is A, B, and C, and this is D, E, and F, you're not going to have fun. But if you say, oh, my definition includes A through F, you're cool.
Exactly. Yeah, redefining those things and really putting different perspectives on what you set certain ideas to be, you know, really helps alleviate stress and alleviate pressure to make something like the best day ever or what have you, right? So, you know, if you learn to take joy in the monotonous things that you do every day, then every day can be a really good day.
Yeah.
Right?
It really can.
Every
You're
day.
paying attention. I'm alive. I'm still breathing. I'm not dead yet.
Yes. Exactly.
We should all wear these shirts to remind us. I'm alive. I'm alive. That's the same thing.
That's
I'm
my
alive.
favorite shirt that you have. It cracks me up.
That was such a good line from the Monty Python movie. That's where it
Oh,
comes from. Mike.
I just thought of this. I don't know if it'll be funny, but I think
What?
it. When you do pass, would you wear a shirt that just said, "I'm dead now"?
I like that. I think I should have one made for that. I'm totally there, Chris.
That would. Oh man, I think.
Wait, you know what I want? I want someone to take the shirt, cross this out,
Said-
and then write, "Oops, dead now." I'm liking that.
Oh, Avery.
Would you do that for me, Chris? When I die, will you just cross this out, put me in it, cross it out? And write, oops. Oops a daisy, dead now.
Oh, I think that is so funny. Yeah. Oh, see that's like that would just define everything. How joyful you are and funny you are with life. I mean, I think that's one of the only truths of life is that we will pass. So
Absolutely.
So-
It's one of the 5 remembrances in Buddhism that we are of the nature to die. We cannot escape death.
Mhm.
And that's the 3rd one, I think. Yeah. The 3rd of the 5 remembrances.
Would you care to explain the 5 or
The five
speak more?
remembrances in Buddhism, they have another name also. I learned them as 5 remembrances, but I can't remember what the other term is. They are, the first one is, I am of the nature to get ill, to get sick. I cannot escape illness. Second is, I am of the nature to grow older. I cannot escape growing older. I am of the nature to die. I cannot escape death. I am of the nature to be separated from everything I know and love. I cannot take them with me.
Mm.
And I am the heir to my karmic actions.
Mm.
In other words, I'm responsible for my choices.
Mm. Yeah, because when we hear karmic actions, some may think of karma as something that is carried onto your soul for however long that may be. But the way you describe it is that every action comes with a choice, or every action comes with a reaction or response.
Yeah,
right?
it's a law of physics. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction.
Yes.
The word karma simply means action.
Mm.
That's the only thing it means is action. So it's not, if I hit you, you're going to hit me, or someone's going to hit me. It's rarely that direct.
Mm.
But it simply means that when I act, when I do actions, something will result from that.
Mm.
And the concept of karma with that, something that takes it beyond just the simple, if I push a glass of water over the edge of the table, it's going to spill.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty easy to see. But I think that one of the most important aspects of understanding the concept of karma is to also recognize that not only is there a result to my actions, but that I have a consciousness involved in that. And I can consciously make a choice so that I say, this is the action I'm going to take, so that there is some reaction somewhere, or a minimal reaction, because you can have neutral karma, where your actions do not cause harm. They don't cause any real discernible results. It's just a good choice.
Yeah. I see.
So that's what it is. But it's not as my karma ran over your dogma kind of stuff.
Yeah. I feel that for me in this lifetime, I have the ability to be conscious, and that's what is really cool and important. So, yeah.
That's karma. There it is in a nutshell.
Well, would you like to do some Wim Hof breath work?
Love to do
See
something,
how
as
that-
long as I don't have to get into a cold pool
Yeah, you don't have
afterwards.
to do that. That's definitely not
Yay.
something you have to do. But we can try some breath work that I've been doing. And actually, before we jump into this, I just have to say that I did get to meet Wim Hof. I forgot what year it was. It was
That's why we still were meeting at the studio.
yeah, well, we're still meeting at the studio, so it was really cool. It was so cool to actually meet him and to be in a conference hall with like 300 people or so, all doing this rhythmic breath. Some people shouting, screaming, it was wild. It was intense. Wim Hof himself is just a funny man. He's so filled with life. If you have not ever heard of him, highly recommend just going on YouTube and checking out his documentaries, because the way he came to this practice and going into the cold was his wife committed suicide, and he was just left, with such depression, and he needed to find a way to heal that aspect of him. So he just literally started going into cold lakes, ice baths, things of that source, and just learning how to be fully present and learning how to just be there and to let the body be in flow and to let the mind be free and to live. So yeah, he has always been such an amazing teacher. And yeah, so when we went there, we all did the breath work for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe.
Wow.
Well, it was a lot of breathing. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like my body was floating out of its skin, and
Yeah, you get tingling,
You
all
get
sorts of interesting body feelings.
yeah,
when you do it.
the super tingling. Almost felt like I was like literally leaving my body. A lot of people were having that same experience too, and right after, he had about 8 big inflatable bathtubs or pools in which he filled it with ice, and there was about 10 or 12 people that got to go in at a time. So like 100 people in different baths, and
Wow.
and they had instructors there all teaching how to do it. And I remember going in, and I had been practicing this a little bit on my own, but there was one guy that was there too. I can't quite remember his name, but I think his name was Anthony. But we all go in, and he's sitting across from me, and we'd been talking this entire time because he was next to me during the breath work. And 10 seconds in, he like gets out, and the instructor goes, "Nope," and just like puts him back in, and was like, "Nope, you sit here and breathe. You cannot leave. You have to stay here for at least a minute." And he just, and then his eyes get, and then he just has this big smile, and I was like, "Oh shit, there it is, there it is." And he didn't, after that, he didn't want to get out. And this is ice to your neck.
Wow.
So we sat in there for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, because it was a first time for some people. They don't want you staying in there too long, right?
Good. I'm glad they're careful.
Yeah, they're
about
careful about that, very careful. And we got out, and we assumed this stance where you're in a squat and you start and this is
Building
like
some body heat.
building some body heat, building that energy. And this is like I said, this was at least 100 people all doing
Wow.
and then
Getting the circulation back to the extremities.
and we were
because it leaves them.
it leaves, and our core body though was so warm and everything, and it was a phenomenal experience. So since then, it's been just a practice that I really, really love doing. And sometimes I forget about it, and sometimes I fall off, and I'm always like, okay.
You can never forget about it for longer than 2 weeks because you have to teach it
Yeah, I
every 2
mean,
weeks.
but actually, like doing it, like
Yeah. Oh, doing it for yourself.
doing it for myself, and like and getting into the water. I think that for me, that aspect of it is I have to get into the water, you know. But yeah, I think it'd be great to share a little bit of this practice.
Yeah. Let's spell the name Wim Hof for people because they may not be able to spell that.
Okay, so it's WIMHOF, Wim Hof.
Wim Hof.
Yeah, Wim Hof.
They want to look it up.
Yeah,
because he's got some great videos. I've
He
seen
is
him.
great.
Oh,
Yeah, he's so funny. The
He
first thing he did when he came into this conference was he saw a stool, and the stool looked like a mushroom, and he goes, "Ha, mushrooms. Anyone like magic?" And then he just goes, "Not here though. Let's get to breathing." And we just he
funny.
cracked me up.
His videos are so funny.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching them.
And he's just so full of love and joy.
Okay, so
Sure.
you're going to guide us.
Sure.
How many rounds are we going to do? Just one or two? Or
Let's do 2 rounds.
Okay.
Sounds good.
2 rounds?
2 rounds. Let's do a little disclaimer that if you do feel a little bit of lightheadedness, you can stop at any given point. Listen to your body, but also your mind will tell you a little bit to stop, and we'll guide and do our.
Be sure
our
you're
thing.
sitting down or lying down.
Yeah.
And stay that way.
Yeah.
Lovely
Make sure
things.
to lie or sit, whatever feels most comfortable to you in that moment.
And you want to do deep belly
Deep belly breathing.
Right.
So we're gonna be breathing into our belly and into our chest, and then you're gonna let go and continue that breath for 40 times, 30, 40 times. I'll guide us through this entire practice, but some of the key things that we want to make sure we do is it doesn't matter what holes you breathe out of. You have 3 holes, use it. Your mouth or your nostrils, whatever you feel, or use them all at the same time. There's no right or wrong way. Just make sure you're breathing in a full circular motion. No pauses at the top or bottom of your breath.
And the inhale is the most important. The exhale, you just
Yeah.
let it. You don't have to push the exhale out like when we do in meditation. We have long, slow exhales.
Yes.
Not this.
Yes, you're
It's
taking a breath in and
Deep
letting
inhale
go.
and just letting go. And then inhaling, that's the focus, and just let go.
And
of
let
the
go.
exhale. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And then after we do about that 30 breaths or so, we'll take a nice breath, full breath out, and then we'll pause and hold. And we'll do a 30-second
30-second.
30-second pause
Okay.
for the first one.
Okay.
Would you mind grabbing me my phone real quick? Oh. Wow. I want to be as flexible as you when I'm older.
Yoga.
Yoga. Okay.
Yeah, I can put my leg around my neck, but I need someone to hold on to take a curb. Go down a curb.
Okay.
It's good to get older.
So let's start with our practice today.
Okay.
Take a breath through the nose, down the spine into your belly. Release that breath fully out the nose or through the top of the head. We'll take another breath in together, just breathing in, letting that breath go. And we'll start with our practice. Fully in, letting go. Fully in, letting go. Fully in, letting go. Fully in, letting go. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Into the belly and chest, letting go. Fully in, let it 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 go. In, out. In, out. 10 more. Fully in, let it go. 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 5 more. Fully in, letting go. Fully in, let it go. Fully in, let it go. Fully in, let it go. Last one. Fully in, letting go. And pause. 30 seconds. No breath, just pause. Allow the shoulders to relax. Allow the eyebrows to settle. You may find that your belly is tight. Let that go. You're almost there. Just relax. And we'll take this recovery breath in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fully in. And hold. And squeeze. And push that energy and oxygen all around the body. And let that breath go. Our second round. We'll start again. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Let it 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 go. In. Go. Fully in. Let it go. Fully in. Let it go. Fully in. Let it go. In. Out. In. Out. 10 more. Fully in. Let it go. 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 5 more. Fully in. Let it go. 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 Last one. Fully in. Let it go. And pause 45 seconds. Allow this moment to just be. You may find some tingling sensations all around your body. You may find some tension. Just release that. Drop the shoulders. Release the belly. Allow the tongue to drop off the roof of the mouth, as we are almost there already. If you think you've relaxed, relax even more. Your mind may tell you to breathe. We only have 5 more seconds to take our recovery breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fully in. And hold. And squeeze. Push that oxygen all around the body. And let that breath go. And let your breathing normalize. However you feel. What a wonderful practice. What a pleasure to feel the body, tingling sensations all around. It's nice to come into presence with ourselves.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Avery.
That was lovely. Where are my other 2 or 3?
How was your experience with that today?
Well, that was quite lovely. You know, when we do our practice on our Thursday class, we rarely start with a half a minute anymore. We usually start with at least 45 seconds. Then we work our way up to 1.5, 1.75, or even 2 minutes. And 30 seconds is just so short now. It wasn't the first time we did. I guarantee you it was forever. But it was really very short right now. So that was a pleasure to know there were going to be shorter ones. What I also remembered was that I forgot to oil my nose today. I should have done that. So in Ayurveda, there's a practice called nasya. We'll tell our audience this. And it's about oil nosing. Nose oiling. I wasn't present for that one. Nose oiling. And I found we have recognized this in our Thursday class, that oiling my nose before we do this really makes a difference. It clears the pathways for the oxygen. My nose tends to be very mucousy because I have a lot of damage in my nose from a car accident. So it's constantly running. Oiling it really makes a big difference. So next time we do Wim Hof, we have to remember for me to oil my nose. Maybe I'll bring the oil with me and I can show people how to do nasya.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It's a lovely practice, even not for Wim Hof.
Good.
So, but I loved it. It was wonderful. I got a little bit of tingling. I was so happy with the time, and I wanted more.
Ah, good. Well, with that, you can always practice on your own too. So that's good. That's good. Well,
how was it for you? Or did you get any of it because you were teaching? You don't get that much.
Not too often. Not so much, but I did practice it before going into the water, so that was lovely. Yeah, I always find it to be like such an interesting experience because sometimes I will have a fan or something blowing on me. And after I've done 4 or 5 rounds of that practice, that sound of the fan just disappears. Yeah. Almost like a ringing, like a little And I'm just in this space where there's nothing but presence. Like everything becomes one. It's really interesting. It's such an interesting experience, but everything literally becomes one. It's like the fan sound disappears, the cars or whatever's driving by disappears. Like I feel connected to the earth. I feel connected. It really feels like I'm in oneness with everything. So yeah.
It's because your mind is not judging everything.
Yeah, right.
Which it does constantly.
Yeah.
Even when we don't think about it, we truly are always making judgments about everything. Just looking at a wall, to know it's a wall, it requires judgment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like looking at our table or something, and sitting on it, and then someone saying, "Oh, you can't sit. That's not a chair." But it's like,
It is right now.
It is right
If
now.
I'm sitting on it, it's a chair.
Lovely.
And that's opening your mind to the definition of something like we were talking about earlier. To be open to a different definition of something.
Yes. Yes.
That doesn't mean that you make up alternate facts.
Yes.
for
Yes. Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
But like you just said so beautifully, if you're sitting on a table, it is a chair.
Yes.
So
Yes. We're redefining these things.
yeah, and it's not lying.
No, it's just a redefinition, different perspective.
Correct.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Yes.
That's right. Oh, we love that.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Well, yeah, I think this was an awesome practice today and a great conversation, and maybe we'll come together again on another episode and speak some other things. And we would love to hear what you guys think of this, if you've ever actually practiced the Wim Hof, or if you have jumped into meditation of your own. If you would love to leave some comments or likes and just interact with us, we'll be more than willing to speak and to share our wisdom and some things for all of you guys. And this is a growing community for everyone, not just us two, but once one wakes up, and all of us can wake up possibly, and that would be
Please. It is catching like a yawn.
yes. It's like, I feel like that's one of my duties, is to help as many people become into consciousness or presence in their lives, because it's helped me a lot. So
Yeah. And to give that gift without strings attached.
yes.
So that whether or not you see them becoming enlightened is irrelevant.
Yes.
I don't know if I've said this before, but there's a wonderful, I think it's a Greek saying, the wise plant trees in whose shade they will never sit.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So keep planting trees, Chris.
Yes, you too. You have
Thank you.
planted many trees too. And yes, hopefully everyone gets to sit under a tree eventually.
Someone will, and we don't have to worry about who it is.
Yes, and so
We just want to make sure there are still trees so we can still breathe.
absolutely. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this episode
Thank you.
of Learning to Be Human. Again, I'm Chris,
I'm Avery.
and we will see you next time.
Yes. Be well.
Be well.
Breathe. Peace. Yes.
That might be our shot at the end of it.
Okay.
Nice.
Peace.